All right, hello and welcome to Don't Play Sports. I'm James alongside Pat. Today we're going to be talking about the last week in baseball. Today is Friday, February 5th. There we go. So first move for our Around the Horn section, the Angels traded for Alex Cobb from the Orioles. They gave up prospect Jahmai Jones and cash. Cobb, after signing a 4-year, $57 million deal with the Orioles in 2017, has gone 7-22 with a 5.10 ERA over the last 3 years. They're giving up Jahmai Jones, who is their number 7 prospect. This is a really dumb trade for the Angels. I mean, this offseason, they've obviously needed pitching.
Be blunt about it.
Yeah, they've obviously needed pitching. They haven't gotten trapped to the playoffs since 2014, and they're trying to solve the problem with Jose Quintana and Alex Cobb, who combined might have like a 4 or 5 ERA. They're giving up Jahmai Jones. They're not going to pay Cobb's entire salary for next year, but still, it's not anything that's going to put them in the right direction, really. Pat, what are your thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, no, it's just bad. It's just bad. They gave up a good prospect. Jahmai Jones could end up being a very good major leaguer one day, and they got Alex Cobb, who at one point was a good major leaguer, but ever since he went to Baltimore, those days are a little bit past him. And they need their pitching. They struck out on Cole. They struck out on Bauer. And when they struck out on those guys, they didn't even go for like the next tier. They just went straight to I won't say the trash pile, but they went more to the bottom tier guys.
Mediocre. All right, so the next move was the Indians signed former Twins outfielder Didi Rosario to a 1-year, $8 million deal. They non-tendered him earlier in the offseason. Rosario has been a very underrated but productive bat last 3 years, averaging a .278 batting average and 23 bombs. He wasn't as great in 2020, but still was very productive and is a great signing for the Indians, who they've lost a lot this offseason.
Yeah, obviously Didi Rosario has been a very good player in the past. I mean, obviously Cleveland sort of on the decline. Of course, they traded Lindor and Carrasco. They traded Clevenger just a year ago. And, the team, especially the offense, isn't looking all that ready to compete this year. But Didi Rosario is a good signing. No matter where he's going to sign, he's a good left fielder. He's going to bat something like 270 at like 25 homers.
Yeah. So the next move was the Brewers signed 2-time Gold Glove winner Clint Wong to a 2-year, $18 million deal with a third option. Wong had his most productive season at the plate in 2019, and although lost a lot of that power, he still was pretty good in 2020 and has won back-to-back Gold Gloves. I didn't see this one coming for the Brewers because they have Keston Hiura, who's the young budding star at second, but I like the move for them. I mean, it solidifies an infield. I didn't seem that necessary, or I really thought he was going back to St. Louis or maybe to Chicago.
Yeah, Clint Wong, wherever he went, it's going to be a good signing. He's a very good fielder. He's consistent at the plate, left-handed bat. And, he's a middle infielder. And, the defense up the middle. Everybody talks about that. That's what you need. So, Brewers are a team that, especially in a weak NL Central division, could compete for, let's say, a division, maybe a playoff spot, especially in the expanded playoffs, if we have the expanded playoffs.
Yeah.
So, it's a good signing. Really not sure how much it's going to bring to the table in terms of pushing them over the top, as opposed to, of course, the Cardinals acquiring Nolan Arenado. But,
yeah,
still a good move.
Yeah, absolutely. So next one was the Twins signed reliever Alex Colome to a 1-year, $6.25 million deal. Colome had a fantastic 2020 season, going 2-0 with an .081 ERA and 12 saves. The Twins had such a great move with this. Only $6 million for a guy, and they have a option for the second year. They have two guys that are kind of coming off shaky years, but were really good in 2019, and Hansel Robles and Taylor Rogers. So I love this move for the Twins.
Yeah, obviously they lost Trevor May. They need a bullpen. They're just trying to still compete, obviously, and that's exactly what they did. They went out and they got a very good reliever. And that bullpen, if everything goes right, it should be a pretty good bullpen near the top of the league.
Definitely. So next one was the Phillies signed Didi Gregorius to a 2-year, $28 million deal. After coming off a tough 2019 season, he batted .284 and hit 10 bombs while driving in 40 in 2020. and was a anchor in the Phillies lineup. I'm glad they brought him back. I think that's a good move for them. That solidifies that infield as a very underrated one, but still very solid one with Hoskins, Segura, Gregorius, and Bohm. So I'm glad they brought him back. I didn't think he got the same amount of money he did last year. So I think it's just a good move for the Phillies.
I really like this signing. Gregorius obviously had a great year in 2020. He's a proven player at this point. He's a very, very talented shortstop.
Sad day for Red Sox fans. Dustin Pedroia has announced his retirement after 14 seasons. He had a fantastic career. Yeah, absolutely. Round of applause to Dustin. 2008 MVP, 4-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ with the Red Sox, and a 4-time Gold Glove winner. Batted a career 299 with 140 home runs and 725 ribbies. So great career for Dustin. Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, he's such an icon in Boston for so long. Him and Big Papi together there, won a couple titles. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It stinks that he lost a lot of his later prime to injuries, but still a great career. Another quick thing just to mention, former A's, Cubs, and White Sox catcher Josh Phegley has also retired. Good career for him as well. Next move, the Twins signed All-Star and Silver Slugger Nelson Cruz, brought him back on a 1-year, $13 million deal. Incredible in 2020. Batting .303 with 16 bombs and .992 OPS, over a 1,000 OPS in 2019. All of this at around the age of 40. And he held out a little bit on them. And I thought that was because he wanted the 2-year deal. I was thinking like, okay, maybe 2 years, 13 to 15 million for an AAV. But he came around with the 1-year, $13 million deal. So good for him. I think great move for the Twins, especially they've had a good week in trying to catch back up to the White Sox with the great move of grabbing Lance Lynn earlier and have 3 of our top 15 pitchers. So any more thoughts on Cruz?
Yeah, obviously it's a great re-signing for the Twins. And it seems like that's where Nelson Cruz wants to be for the finishing out his career. And, they re-signed him for his age 85 season. I think he's going to have a good one.
And some video game news. Fernando Tatis Jr. was named the main cover athlete for MLB The Show 2021. And Jackie Robinson was named the legendary and exclusive cover for collectors. So both great things. This was a big year for the MLB doing its work to diversify and integrate. So having Robinson on the cover is great. As the player who broke the MLB color barrier. So obviously very good there. Tatis is probably the most exciting player in the league, breaking the unwritten rules. And I think that's a great choice for them. Also, San Diego studio produces the game, and so they wouldn't have to go cross country for a photo shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got it right here. I don't think there's any other way you could have gone. Yeah. Tatis, I think you could very easily say is one of, if not the most popular player in baseball right now. And he's certainly very exciting. And, Jackie Robinson, obviously, is a great move. Yeah, obviously, you would think he would make a cover eventually. So.
Yeah. So now we got to the big topic. We were recording this on Friday, February 5th, and the last 48 hours have been incredible for baseball fans. Pat is not happy. If you recall to 2010 with the decision with LeBron James, no one really knew what was going to happen. Some people thought he was going back to Cleveland. Some thought he was going to Miami. Some thought other teams. But it was very exciting primetime entertainment. And the last 48 hours have been very similar to that because Trevor Bauer has gone from at the beginning of the season, it seemed like, okay, maybe the Mets, they got Steve Cohen and a bunch of new money. Maybe the Dodgers, maybe the Angels, and then slowly it's been like, okay, maybe not the Mets, maybe not, maybe the Angels, maybe the Dodgers. We haven't known, but in the last 48 hours, it seems that it was Dodgers or Mets. And Trevor Bauer was trolling with us all.
Last about 5 hours, seemed pretty confident in the fact it was going to be the Mets.
Yeah, and Bob Nightingale even reported that he was signing with the Mets.
Bob Nightingale was not. How do you get it wrong so many times, Bob?
Yeah, and nothing towards Bob. I'm sure he's a great writer and a reporter, but you got to step it up, man. And no disrespect whatsoever. But he eventually signed with the Dodgers on a 3 years, $102 million It's very similar to when Kevin Durant left the OKC Thunder for Golden State. Some people see it as a little bit of a sellout, going to try and win a championship, which has been his number one priority, along with trying to have a kind of like a sponsorship between the two teams to continue his branding. Obviously, great 2020 season, 5-4 with a 1.73 ERA and 100 strikeouts, and has been a pretty consistent pitcher, our number 5 pitch starter in baseball. Pat, you want to break down the contract and give us your analysis on this?
Yeah, so obviously Trevor Bauer, the money he said he wanted record-breaking AAV, and even though from some of the things he's done in the past, he probably is not worth that. Neither is Garrett Cole, really, if we're being honest. The record-breaking AAV should be Mike Trout. But that is not how it works, as the starting pitchers seem to get paid, and paid again. So Trevor Bauer in 2021 will make $40 million, followed by an opt-out. Then 2022, he will make $45 million, followed by another opt-out, before obviously making the rest of the 102 in his third year with the Dodgers if he ends up staying.
Yeah, interesting move for the Dodgers, because they have a lot of guys who are coming towards the end.
Where the money's coming from.
Yeah, they're paying currently David Price over $30 million. They're paying now Trevor Bauer over $30 million. They're paying Clayton Kershaw more than $30 million. They're paying Mookie Betts more than $30 million. They're paying more than $15 million for AJ Pollock. Where is all this money?
Not to mention Corey Seager with an impending free agency. Clayton Kershaw too. I forgot about that. And even, give it some time. It's pretty soon. It's going to be time to pay Cody Bellinger out in center field.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming. I don't think it's a necessarily smart move for the Dodgers. They didn't really need help in that rotation. You've got Kershaw, you've got Buehler, you've got Price coming back. But even if you aren't ready to give Price a huge role, which they probably should because they're paying him a lot, you've got Dustin May, who just had a great rookie year. You have Tony Gonsolin, who just had a great rookie year. You've got Julio Urias, who had a great year. Now some of those guys will become like 6th or 7th starters, which also kind of contradicts what Trevor Bauer said, wanting to start on the 4th day. So where is this coming from? And it seemed like, yes, he's from Los Angeles. He went to UCLA. He wanted to go to Southern California. That's okay. But there is just as much potential and more probably for you to have everything you desire in New York or with the Los Angeles Angels. Now, the Angels
made
made
money in New York, too, for Jeff Passan, at least.
I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't really like it for the Dodgers. I mean, this could, and I could be completely wrong a year from now if Trevor Bauer puts up another season like he has. But throughout his career, he's had 2 incredible seasons and then been about an above-average pitcher in between those. 2018, he had an injury-shortened near Cy Young campaign, and then this year he was the National League Cy Young. So I don't know how it wasn't necessary for the Dodgers. It wasn't necessary for the Mets either, really. The Angels were the team that needed him. The Dodgers were the team that got him. What do you want to say?
So I think I would have liked to see the Dodgers either way sign a more veteran starter, really. Someone maybe more like Odorizzi or something like that. It doesn't have to be at like that second tier of pitchers like Odorizzi and Paxton are right now, but just someone more like that. Then they wouldn't obviously have to pay Trevor Bauer all of the money he's going to get. I think this is a pretty boom or bust signing. I think no matter what, it was going to be that way because he was going to get a whole lot of money. And, obviously he's very outspoken as a person. So, he wants to win a championship. Obviously, the best chance to, So they just confirmed that the offer to the Mets was 3-1-10, so it was more money for the Mets. But obviously they signed Trevor Bauer, so I think it's a good signing as like the player. Obviously the money's too much. The money was always going to be too much, but a lot of that comes with the marketing that Bauer brings.
Yeah,
Bauer certainly trolled a lot of Mets fans and a lot of baseball, as it really seemed even really seemed like he was going to sign with the Mets. Seemed like everything was pointing that way. Seems like he really just wanted to get a whole bunch of money and go play for the Dodgers and win a championship.
And I don't know. It's very interesting what went down, and the last, like I said, 48 hours have been crazy, and everything that's been hinted to or rumored, and you don't really know what to believe.
Yeah, like the 12 p.m. deadline. There was a 12 p.m. deadline for the Mets. People were saying that was a bluff. Mm-hmm. Well, what if it comes out that maybe that wasn't a bluff? What if the Mets, I mean, for all we know, the Mets could have retracted their offer after 12 p.m., and that's why he had to sign with the Dodgers. Yeah. I don't know if that's necessarily likely because people were saying that it was just a bluff to get him to sign. But still, I mean, a lot has happened. I'm not sure if some of what Trevor Bauer has done, not really done, but caused, based off what has been leaked and things like that, is necessarily, the way you really want to see these things go down in today's age, but that's what happens. So.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have for you today, unless you want to say anything else about Bauer.
I'm just gonna say it again. I don't like how it went down. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but that's what happened.
Yeah, and that's true. And you and I were talking about this a while back. The MLB is changing, and we're going to address this. We were going to address this until Bauer signed today, and just the level of the kind of the era of everyone can hit dingers, everyone can throw strikeouts, and super teams. Because you look at the league right now, the Dodgers are a super team, the Padres are a super team, the Mets are looking like a super team, the Yankees could be put up there. You got the White Sox could be even considered a super team, the Braves. There are so many teams that are just stacked from top to bottom in the league today.
You see those teams, and that's just like the top level of super teams. You look at the way the Blue Jays are being built. They're being built to be a super team. Obviously, they're on the younger side of things. Yeah. The Cardinals, obviously, not near the level of the other teams. For bringing in Arenado, that's obviously a super team move. Like bringing in a guy like Nolan Arenado is just about the equivalent of bringing in a guy like Kevin Durant. That's obviously without the championships. But, baseball, you can't win by yourself. So
no, and that's very true. And that's
not
why
that KD did that. He had a bunch of teammates.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Just thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure to check out our Instagram, Double Play Sports 2021. We are currently putting out our top 10 list for players. We'll be putting out our top 100 list soon. We're going to be doing some preseason power rankings. So we got a lot of great stuff coming out there. Obviously, we have done some great interviews recently. We have some more exciting ones coming up. So make sure to support us in any way you can, and we'll see you next week.